If you're someone that struggles with self-worth, I encourage you to watch this video. Let's get wise together. Let's just dive straight in. Your worth isn't determined by how clearly you can see it. Sometimes the problem isn't you. Sometimes the problem is the mirror you're using. Now let's look at a visual representation of today's principle of wisdom, and it comes courtesy of a visual that I first drew in 2022. And I think it's just as true today as it was back then. If you can't see anything beautiful in the mirror, get yourself a better mirror. This message is simple but powerful. When we struggle to see our own beauty or any value in ourselves, the issue is not our worth. It is the lens of which we are looking at it. Our thoughts, our past experiences, our internal narratives, whatever, can become cracked mirrors that distort how we see ourselves. Sometimes the most important change that we can make isn't changing who we are, but actually changing how we see ourselves. Now let's look at a saying that kind of complements this whole principle, and it comes courtesy of Carl Jung. He says, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Jung reminds us that life isn't about just becoming someone else or comparing ourselves to other people. It's about discovering and embracing the person that we were always meant to be, and it starts with adopting a new, healthier perspective. Now for me, who I'm meant to be, I feel is very much influenced and dictated by my spiritual father, God, but I wonder who that is for you. Where do you get your definition of who you're truly meant to be? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's explain or unpack today's principle of wisdom further. Many people who typically walk through life believing that they are somehow lacking, right? Not talented enough, maybe you've been told that you're not attractive enough, not successful enough, or simply not enough. And if you're reading this thinking, that's me, then don't worry, you're not alone. We live in a society that is endlessly trying to ram these ideas down our throats, right? Spend 5 minutes on social media and you'll already see 5 people trying to present themselves as better than you. Often these negative beliefs of ourselves are formed by these distorted mirrors, past criticisms, comparison, rejection, or unrealistic expectations. Over time, these experiences shape the way we see ourselves. But just because a mirror shows something doesn't mean that it's actually telling the truth. And so if you see yourself in a negative way, if you do not see any worth in yourself, I encourage you to reflect on these 3 ways in which you can find a better mirror. The first is to notice the voice that you're listening to the most. Is it encouraging or constantly critical? The voice in your head often becomes the mirror through which you see yourself. Consider writing out the things that you are thinking to see if you still believe them. I find that if I'm in a mode where I'm beating myself up, typically goes hand in hand with depression, I'll often journal about it now because for some reason an idea about how I see myself negatively might be so true in my head, but as soon as I see it on paper, I just realize just how silly it is. But it feels so real whilst I believe it in my head. But when I see it written out on paper, I just process it differently and see it for what it really is, just the enemy trying to bring me down. The second idea is to surround yourself with people who reflect your worth. Healthy relationships help us to see things that we struggle to see in ourselves. Sometimes others recognize our strengths long before we do. And so surrounding yourself with people that actually recognize who you are is a really healthy thing to do. And third and finally, focus on your contributions rather than comparison. Your value does not come from being better than somebody else. It often comes from your unique way in which you can contribute to the world. The world doesn't need a different version of you. It needs the one that already exists, the one that you were always meant to be. And sometimes all that's required is a better mirror to see that contribution. If you want to unpack this further, I encourage you to reflect on these 3 journal prompts. The first is, what belief about myself might be coming from a distorted mirror? The second is, who in my life reflects my value back at me in healthy ways? And then the third one is, how might my life change if I started believing I have something meaningful to offer? If you want to learn more about the life-changing habit of journaling, I encourage you to check out journalwise.com. It's a website that I set up with a self-paced journaling course of sorts. with all the tips and tricks that you need to know to make this a long-lasting, healthy habit. And again, it's completely for free, so check it out today. Now let's move on to today's resource, and it comes courtesy of someone that I've mentioned in the resource section many a time. It is Brené Brown, and it's her book, The Gifts of Imperfection. This book explores the power of embracing who we are rather than striving to achieve an impossible ideal. Brené Brown's research on vulnerability and self-worth typically offer a helpful reminder that our imperfections don't diminish our value, but instead they're part of what makes us human. If you want to learn more about this principle and how it kind of complements today's principle of wisdom, I encourage you to check out this book. You can find it potentially in your local bookstore. Alternatively, check out the link in the description to find where you can buy it online. Now, if today's video version of Wiser resonated with you, if you struggle to see your self-worth, I encourage you to reach out to me on any social media platform. I'd love to unpack this a little bit further with you. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more as I navigate these principles of wisdom, I encourage you to check out this playlist here for more Wisers just like this one. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.